Good morning. My name is Jim Peters. I'm co-chair of the Worship Committee, and it is my pleasure to serve as Worship Associate this morning to welcome you to this online service of the Unitarian Society of New Haven, our USNH. The USNH mission statement is this: we are a diverse, multi-generational faith community that inspires lives of compassion and generosity, nurtures spiritual growth, cultivates transformative connections, and creates a more just world. It is a blessing indeed to be sharing this time together. Many elements of today's service are drawn from the National UUA post-election vigil and gathering held last Thursday. It's a reminder that USNH is part of many intersecting circles of connection and commitment, and an opportunity to offer sincere appreciation to everyone who has leaned into the effort to support UU the Vote over the last months and into the future. I'd like to make a special note of welcome to those visiting us for the first time or after an extended absence. Each Sunday morning, immediately after the service, there is a Zoom gathering especially for newcomers to meet with our membership team and to know more about us in an informal setting. The email address of the membership team is on your screen. If you reach out, they will help you get into the meeting. And on behalf of the entire worship committee, I offer heartfelt best wishes to our newest USNH members who will be formally welcomed into our community during this service. Friends, while we are socially distant, we are spiritually connected. We may name and hold that spirit each in our own way, but the connection is real, and it is strong, and it is enduring. Come, let us worship together.
Come now, all who are broken and cracked. Come to the place where your shattered pieces are the raw materials of mosaic and kintsugi. Here you will find welcome among the armless dolls and cozy pilled sweaters, loved exactly as they are. Come now, all who are thirsty and burned. Come to the place where cool waters and aloe soothe your bedraggled soul. Drink your fill and salve your skin, then fill your canteen and return once more to the struggle, knowing the well will remain unobstructed. Come now, all who long for the stars. Come to the place where that vision of infinity is written upon the people's hearts. Gaze upon it until you've memorized the way. Set your compass to point towards hope and begin your journey home. Welcome to this sacred time together.
We will light a chalice tonight, symbol of our faith and beacon to gather together, broken and blessed, just as we are. Beloveds, this is the flame of truth, shining light on the history of both strength and struggle that brought us here. Illuminated in this light are legacies and inheritances that shape us, that chastise us, that bless us, that call us forth. In this light, we honor the goodness and the blessing of the land on which we all sit. Indigenous land, then and now, that will always resist the restraint of colonization, of theft, of exploitation with its relentless abundance. We learn from that land, unceasing teacher of the tenacity of life, longing to burst forth and thrive. In this light, we honor the lives lost and stolen. Black lives, Native lives, lives of all those who have been enslaved, displaced, exploited, constrained in the building of this nation. We hold the trauma of those generations in tender care, while giving thanks for the exquisite inheritances of resilience and resistance that are equally a part of this legacy. In this light, beloveds, we honor all those for whom this election represents life and death. Black, brown, Indigenous, queer, trans, non-binary, poor, disabled, immigrant, more. And we honor too the knowing among us that even while our lives hang in the balance, our interests are not at the table. But still, in this light, we honor and hold the hope of all those who work and organize and fight, not for a single election, but for the freedom and thriving of all people everywhere. May this light, our light, illuminate a way forward.
Hold my hand while I'm on this race. Hold my hand while I run this race. Hold my hand while I'm on this race, for I don't want to run this race in vain. Hold my hand while I this race. Oh, hold my hand while I run this race. Oh, hold my hand while I run this race, for I don't want to run this race in vain.
Friends, dear ones, fellow Unitarian Universalists, it's so good to be with you tonight. I am excited to share with you a story, and it's one of my favorites. You may have, if you've known me a long time, you may have heard me share it before. It's an old Jewish folk tale from the 1700s told by Jacob Ben Wolfkrantz. And I've heard the story told different ways, so this is the way I know it best. Like a lot of stories, they sometimes change in the telling and passing on. The story begins in a town with the townspeople. And these townspeople have a prized possession in their town. It is a beautiful, stunning, perfect diamond. And the townspeople are so proud of this treasure that they keep it on display. They keep the diamond on display at the center of town so that everyone can enjoy it. And people often come from far and wide to enjoy and look upon this amazing jewel. But one day, the townspeople wake up, and when the earliest risers go to the center of town, they're shocked and unsettled to discover that their diamond has a deep crack running along its length. They have no idea how the diamond cracked. They are heartbroken and shocked. The townspeople gather around. They look for jewelers in the town. They search out craftspeople from all around, stonecutters, anyone, to see if someone might be able to fix their beautiful diamond. But everyone who comes and inspects it says that the crack is too deep, that it is too broken, and that to even try to fix it would risk it breaking into multiple pieces. But then one day, a stranger comes to their town. And the stranger walks into the center of town and is looking at the diamond. And they say, "I can fix this." And the townspeople hear this and begin to gather. And the stranger says, "I am a stonecutter and I know how to fix this diamond. I'll have to take it with me back to my shop. It'll probably take me 2 weeks to fix it, but I promise I will return with it." Well, the townspeople are wary. After all, this is a stranger. But their hope, their desire to have their prized possession back, fixed, outweighs their fear. And so they give the diamond to the stranger. Exactly 14 days later, this stranger returns to the town. And they come to the center of town and they're carrying the bag that they took the diamond with them. And they open it up and they pull out the diamond and they give it to one of the elders in the town. And the elder looks upon the diamond and is amazed. The stonecutter had not polished the crack away. Rather, they had carved a beautiful rose into the face of the diamond using the crack as part of the rose's stem. The elder holds up the diamond to the townspeople. And he says to the stonecutter, "You have taken something that was cracked and broken and made it even more beautiful than it was before. And they passed the diamond around throughout the members of the town, all moved by the beauty of the rose and the diamond. I love this story because it reminds us that brokenness is not the end of the story. And in fact, we know that the diamond was never perfect, maybe in the eyes of the town people, but we know it was never perfect. But the brokenness is not the end of the story. And the gift that the stranger brings to the townspeople is the ability to see the possibility of the rose in the brokenness. So easy to always see what is broken, what is lost, and to focus there, to focus our attention there. It's even possible to be so consumed with that brokenness that we give up any sense of what can be, of what's possible. Feel that we should just take care of ourselves. The world is so broken, the world is so unjust, the situation is so wrong that we need to just withdraw, take care of ourselves, assume that all around us is broken, is ugly. Of what this stranger sees, and I believe that what a practice of our faith as Unitarian Universalists is about always being rooted in the beauty that is present in life, that is present in each and every one of us. To see the rose that is possible, and to always be rooted in working to bring that beauty forward. To keep our attention and our awareness open to the beauty, to the joy, to the love of life, to the compassion and goodness that is possible in ourselves. And to till that soil, to do that work, to bring forth the joy, to bring forth the rose from the brokenness.
Today, it is my great honor and privilege to welcome the newest members of the Unitarian Society of New Haven into the congregation. You've learned about Unitarian Universalism. You've pledged your gifts of time and money. You're about to be signed into the membership book. You're now part of this congregation's history, its present, and its future.
Whether we were born into this faith or chose it for ourselves, Unitarian Universalism asks us to renew and recommit to that choice every time we gather. As UU writer Liz James notes, this religion is not a thing you join, it's a thing you are called to co-create. We are delighted that you have chosen us as your co-creators.
In this living tradition of ours, we're able to accomplish together what we could never do on our own. Our individual quests and our collective strength are intertwined, both nourishing and rooting each other. As our membership grows, so does our potential for healing the world. So I invite first the congregation, represented today by Nancy Apfel and Christine Durham, and then the new members to read your mutual affirmations.
We, the members of the Unitarian Society of New Haven, welcome you into this community warmed by fellowship and freedom, respect and reverence, curiosity and consolation, learning and love. Since its founding in 1951, we are grateful to each of you as you join this congregation as equal members and we accept and affirm you as you are.
And invite you into a journey of spiritual exploration within community. In times of shared joy and in times of shared conflict, when our visions align and when we fall short,
We will remember the promises we've made and return to each other in the spirit of love. May your presence here change us all for the better.
members of the Unitarian Society of New Haven, we have crossed a threshold into a new relationship with this congregation, a deepened commitment, a broader openness, a brighter path of possibility. We pledge our gifts in support of the ministries of this congregation and ask for your support as we find our way in this faith. In times of shared joy and in times of shared conflict, when our visions align and when we fall short, we will remember the promises we've made and return to each other in the spirit of love. Let us all now affirm our congregational covenant. We covenant together to create and nurture a culture of respect and kindness, and to engage in the spiritual and everyday practice of loving more generously. To this end, we will strive to be open, value differences, listen deeply, use kind language, speak our truths, work with conflict, seek humor and joy. All right, thank you all so much. Let us
Good morning. My name is Sarah Whitson, and I am a member of the Pastoral Care Team. In the midst of unparalleled anxiety, we, as a beloved community, struggle to imagine a future that truly honors the worth and dignity of each human being, that respects the intricate web of life, of all existence, of which we are a part. The poet Wendell Berry offers us a balm for our soul. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world, and I am free.
So now, for a few minutes, I invite you into a time of silence. And silence simply as the absence of adult speaking, and hopefully the absence of interruptions and distractions from your phone or other electronic devices. It's a time to give your unmixed attention. So I invite you to settle into a position that is comfortable for you. It may be sitting or standing, maybe even laying down or moving about. And breathe as you are able. I recognize breath is different for all of us. Do what is available and accessible to you. So with each breath, think about what wondrous love we have within, even if right now it seems buried under an avalanche of worries. Let's unbury it together. And during this time of stillness, I will hold each stone. Will you name what is weighing on you? Speak it out loud if you wish. Speak it silently in your heart. And if you feel comfortable sharing it in public, you may type it into the chat or the comment windows. Exhaustion. Anxiety. I invite you now to form a container with your own hands as you are able. Even one hand can form a bowl, or you can conjure a bowl in your imagination. Collectively, we are the friends gathered round, holding each other, holding our communities, holding the country's leaders. In holding each other, it becomes easier to return to the work. We know what is ahead for us. I offer you this prayer, this blessing. Beloveds, may you create space within to give and receive love, understanding, compassion. May the stillness of the space bring you closer to balance between being and doing. May the stillness give you a place to rest and the patience to face uncertainty with calm. May you find within the stillness wondrous love, and may it fill you and restore you always. Amen. Ashe. May it be so.
In the midst of faults and failures, stand by me. In the midst of persecution, stand by me. When I do the best I can, and my friends misunderstand, Thou who saved Paul and Silas, Thou who knowest all about me, Thou rulest wind and water, stand by me.
Dear friends, this morning we have welcomed new members into our community. Can there be a more tangible expression of the reality that we are still growing, still vital, still needed in this world? And as we give thanks to those who have chosen to walk with us on our collective journey and mission and covenant as Unitarian Universalists, let us remember that this work requires our continued financial support, this and every week. So while we cannot today sit together in the sanctuary, passing the offering plates one to another, I ask you please to consider navigating to usnh.org and clicking on Plate Donation at the top of the screen. Or you can send a donation or pledge payment to USNH 700 Hartford Turnpike, Hamden, Connecticut 06517. Many thanks for your continued generosity during these challenging times.
What wondrous love is this, O my soul, O my soul? What wondrous love is this, O my soul? What wondrous love is this that gives my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, and takes away the pain of my soul. When I was sinking down, when I was sinking down, when I was sinking down beneath my sorrow's crown, friends to me gathered round, oh my soul, friends to me gathered round, oh my soul. To love and to all friends I will sing, to love and to all friends I will sing, to love and to all friends who pain and sorrow mend, with thanks unto the end I will sing, with thanks unto the end I will sing.
Today's reading is a passage from Thich Nhat Hanh's How to Sit, called A Flock of Birds. When you practice sitting with others, you don't have to do anything at all. The basic practice is to be there, to follow your breathing, and to experience the joy of being together. Imagine a flock of birds flying in the sky. Every bird has its own position, and each bird makes a contribution to the whole formation. They fly so smoothly together. Since each bird is part of this larger formation, they don't have to make a lot of effort. They benefit from the collective energy and don't need to work as hard. It's a pleasure to fly together like that in the sky. When we sit together, we are supported by each other. We each produce our true presence and offer that to each other.
I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know, 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 I know. I know, 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 I know this rose, I know this rose, I know my fear, I know my fear, I know my soul, I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose, I know this rose, I know this rose, I know my fear, I know my fear, I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose, I know this rose, I know this rose, I know this rose, I know my fear, I know my fear, I know my soul, I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose, I know this rose, I know this rose, I know my fear, I know my fear, I know my soul will unfurl its wings. Will unfurl its wings. I know this rose, I know this rose, I know this rose, I know my fear will burn away, I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose, I know this rose, I know this rose, I know my fear will burn away, I know my soul will unfurl its wings. Unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open, 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 fear will open, I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open.
Today's service has had the blessing of many wonderful guest voices, connecting USNH to other Unitarian Universalists across the country. Now, I'm especially partial to the music, of course, because Dr. Rideout is a friend and colleague from my previous congregation. But it's the singing itself that heals me, that connects me to something larger than myself. Music reminds me that in bringing our voices together, a single we can emerge. Our separate fires will kindle one flame. In these times when sustaining ourselves can be so challenging, one of the tools available to us is to gather the Spirit. And this can take many forms. Engaging in a spiritual practice that nourishes you. Remember, it doesn't have to be elaborate to be meaningful. Keeping yourself grounded, scrunching your toes inside your shoes, or taking 3 intentional, relaxed breaths. Whatever brings you back to yourself. Attending Sunday services online, which is the primary way that this community gathers right now. Lighting a chalice. This simple act can help you focus when you're feeling scattered. I know thy fear will burn away. Many people are afraid right now. As I write these words, the outcome of the presidential election hasn't been determined yet. But what is clear from this tight a race, though, is that whatever the outcome, we have a ton of work to do. stopping the country from sliding into complete authoritarianism is not good enough. It's a necessary condition for building the beloved community, but woefully insufficient on its own. Our country has centuries of brutal history that we've never reckoned with. It still shows up in systems that treat certain people as if they are disposable. Lives lost and stolen, as Reverend Ashley Horan put it. Lives that hang in the balance, but whose interests are not at the table. When I was sinking down, friends to me gathered round. The good news is that even when we're afraid, even when there's good reason to be afraid, we're not alone. We can find other people organizing around those same issues that we care about and join our voices with theirs. Even those times when you're breaking new ground and you're singing solo, it's a temporary condition, because you can rest assured that there are others gaining courage from your songs of justice and liberation. And always, the ancestors are with us, cheering on our efforts to bring healing to those around us. In the midst of faults and failures, stand by me. Of course, at times we're going to fall short. A phone call won't get returned. Words will come out more brusquely than we intended. Important moments, events will pass unnoticed, and so on. With all the stress, anxiety, and worry so prevalent everywhere, how could we not fall short? With a global pandemic still raging, why would we expect that business as usual is even possible, much less desirable? Let's remember too that on top of everything else, this congregation has been through a lot of changes in recent times. The departure of a beloved settled minister, an abrupt end due to health concerns of the interim ministry, the search and calling of a new settled minister whose presence for the most part is literally two-dimensional. For the children of our children, keep the circle whole. We keep the circle whole by returning to our covenant, which was part of the new member ceremony this morning. Let's extend each other grace on credit, knowing that sooner or later we'll need some of it ourselves. We can take turns lifting each other up and offering each other respite when exhaustion or depression comes nipping at our heels. Through covenant, we have a means of finding our way back to each other. Hold my hand while I run this race. Indeed, beyond just giving each other slack, we can look for ways to give each other joy. Like the birds in Thich Nhat Hanh's reading, it's a pleasure to fly together like that in the sky. For example, the high schoolers decided to meet more often just because they enjoy each other's company. The UU The Vote team sent out cards to every single member of the congregation just because they knew people were eager for connection. And the choir has gathered on chilly mornings just because singing with each other brings such satisfaction and delight. There's a river somewhere that flows through the lives of everyone. Whatever name you give it, There's an animating force in the universe that permeates everything. It connects us to its power and to each other. We are interdependent creatures, never fully separate from this sacred planet on which we depend, or from the other beings with whom we share it. When we gather in peace, in thanks, in sympathy, when we gather in hope, compassion, and strength, then we have reason to celebrate, even in the midst of everything. Amen, and blessed be.
Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. There's a river somewhere that flows through the lives of everyone, and it flows through the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. There's a star in the sky that brightens the lives of everyone, and it brightens the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. Yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do. 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 Yes, I do. There's a star in your eye that brightens the lives of everyone, and it brightens the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. Yes, it is a sweet song of love that sweetens the lives of everyone. And it sweetens the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. Yes, yes, it do. And there's a voice from the past that speaks through the lives of everyone, the lives of everyone. And it speaks through the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. There's a smile in your eyes that shines through the lives of everyone, and it shines through the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. Yes, it do. Yes, it do. Oh, yes, it do. Oh, yes, it do. Oh, yes, it do. Yes, it do. Oh, yes, it do. Oh, yes, it do. Oh, yes, it do. Yes, it do. Oh, yes, it do. Oh, yes, it do. Oh, yes, it do. Yes, you do. Oh, yes, you do. Oh, yes, you do. Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, oh, yes, you do. Yes, yes, oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. 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 Yes, there's a river somewhere. Yes, it is that flows through the light. Yes, it is a river somewhere that flows through the light, and it flows through the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time.
Friends, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
In this living tradition of ours, we're able to accomplish together what we could never do by ourselves. Our individual quests and our collective strength are intertwined, both nourishing and rooting each other. And when we gather our spirits together into one whole, we are also rooting for each other. Let us go forth then with courage and with kindness, my friends, and be a blessing to the world. Amen, and blessed be.
Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned. Circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for its soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned. Circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for its soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned. Circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for its soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle